attending the meeting and the webinar for our HR and payroll solution, Magnar. We will be, my name is Tony Madar. I'm the TAM and Pre-Sales Director for Saydor One. I will leave everything to Wasim. Wasim is the Managing Director and the Pre-Sales Director in Magnar, who will be presenting for us the system. We'll start with a small presentation on the system, and later on we will go into detail, okay, for Magnar as well, and how it is integrated as well with SAP Business One. So Wasim, I leave it to you. Okay, and if you have, please, any question, leave it till the end. We will be having a Q&A session, okay, at the end. So to answer all the question. And if you have anything, you can put it in the chat as well. Wasim,
okay, thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for attending, and thank you for your time on a Wednesday morning or afternoon. So today we'll be presenting a nice cloud-based or born in cloud solution that caters for all your human capital management requirements as Business One users or SAP Business One users. It's a full digital transformation for your HR activities and payroll activities. And the story of the product started around 7 years ago or 6 years ago when SAP announced the move to the web client for SAP Business One. And of course, the introduction of HANA and the HANA service layer. The reason that SAP introduced these options to the ecosystem or to the client base was based on the concept of no more built-in add-ons within SAP Business One, especially on the HR and payroll side, for two reasons. The first one is on the flexibility and the expansion of the product. And the second reason was related to security and performance. And the third reason was related to the expensive licensing schema in case you want to use HR and payroll inside SAP Business One. So at that time, we have taken the decision to invest in a advanced web-based, loosely coupled HR and payroll solution. And we started our journey and we managed to move into different versions and different beta versions until we reached a very stable solution that is running in more than 150 customers and is processing the payroll of over 30,000 employees on a monthly basis. The system has two deployment options. We always follow SAP Business One and the concept of some companies do not like to have their data on cloud. So the system has two deployment options. One is on public cloud, which is, of course, cheaper. You don't require any hardware or any data centers. Also, we give the option to have on-premise, especially for companies like banks or public sector companies or military companies where they require the data to be secured in their own data center. The system is highly secure, which means that you can be confident that your data is secured on the transactional level, as well as for users. You know, we have all the permissions and role-based system. We even provide security up to the field level. And whoever is using payroll within SAP Business One, you will sure be suffering from the performance perspective when you have over 100 or 200 employees. It takes maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes to generate the payroll. With our solution, with Magnar Human Capital Management, you can generate a payroll of 1,000 employees in 35 seconds. So this is a big difference from what you are used to do in case you are used to the old system. It's a multi-country solution. As you know, you as partners or clients, you have a lot of customers, or you as a group may have more than one country in terms of your operations. So the system supports multi-country within the same installation, within the same, let's say, hardware or cloud infrastructure. It's also multi-company that can give you the opportunity to manage more than one legal entity within the group. And of course, it's multi-currency and multi-language. It's a complete system, which means that you have everything you need when it comes to HR and payroll in relation to self-service, training, org structure, loans, benefits and compensation, expense, payroll processing, recruitment, performance and appraisal, time and attendance, leave, travel, business intelligence, and reporting. The system has been successfully deployed in over 12 countries or over 10 countries within the EMEA region. And of course, we're expanding on a monthly basis to cover more countries globally. We have a lot of clients that are using our system in each of the countries that I mentioned to you. We have clients in UAE, in Kuwait, in Nigeria, in Qatar, in Lebanon, in Jordan, etc. Some success stories is, for example, with Taqniya in KSA. It's 100% public investment fund owned, and it's one of the strategic customers that we have in Saudi Arabia, operating as Magnar Human Capital Management with SAP Business One. Al-Qut Industrial Projects in Kuwait, again, it's a huge company, operations in two countries, UAE and Kuwait. They're one of the biggest chlorine manufacturing companies in the region, and they are operating the system with over 800 employees with SAP Business One. Sidra Capital in the financial services, they are in Saudi, UK, and UAE. Also, they're operating their HR and payroll on Magnar with integration with SAP Business One. Our biggest customer in UAE, Al Jaber Group or Al Jaber Optical, they are operating with two entities, Al Jaber Optical and Al Jaber Novelty. In total, each around 400 employees with 40 branches or 40 shops, including duty-free operations. So this is also one of our biggest customers in UAE, fully optimizing and utilizing Magnar with SAP Business One. Having said that, I always try to go into the system and try to show you the system features and functions. And as Tony mentioned, I'm sure you will have a lot of questions. So try to note down your questions. And when we finish the presentation, I will be more than happy to reply to every single question that you may have. So I will end the presentation and we will go to login. As you see, the system is a web-based solution, so you always log into the system via your web portal, whether you have an on-premise deployment or whether you have a public cloud deployment. The system is role-based. It means that you can log into the system based on your role. You can log into the system to only apply for something like a leave transaction, or you can log into the system to as an HR manager or a payroll administrator or a CFO or a CIO or an IT admin. Each will have his own role. I will be logging in as a super admin user, which means I have access to everything. And the system has all the cloud features in terms of sign up, giving control to the user to manage his password, etc. So no more password admin from remote locations, etc. So I will log in. As I mentioned, the system is multi-company, okay, and multi-country. So if I have the authorization, I can access more than one company from one single place. And this is also important if you are doing payroll processing to multi-companies as a business process outsource company to do payroll processing for multi-companies. So we have created a demo system for a company called SAP Middle East and North Africa, so which is a common company, a common name that you all are aware of. And I will log into SAP Middle East and North Africa as John Smith. I'm the HR and admin director at SAP Middle East and North Africa. Of course, I can personalize my picture, my name. I can change my mobile number and confirm it. I can change my email, etc. These are the items that the user can control. Of course, the user can request changes to other items, but of course, this requires certain approval from his HR department. The system has a notification engine that allows you to get any notification that you have, either on your mobile app or your email or on your desktop. And we will see during the course of our presentation how notifications are always being received at multi-channels in the organization. We can personalize our dashboard, which means that every user has his own components on the dashboard. If I don't want to have some components, or I can add some components from my components repository or widgets, and each widget is related to the employee himself, or it can be a common platform or a common widget for everybody in the company. Also, I can run the system in multi-languages, including Arabic, which is from right to left. Also, fully Arabized version of my dashboard or my self-service operations. Okay. The dashboard has a lot of informative widgets. Some are related to leaves. Example, I can have here my annual leave management. I can see how many leave days or annual leave days I have till the end of the year, what was brought forward from last year, what is eligible till to date. And this is something that can change every day based on your annual leave policy or annual leave requirements that you have per country, per grade, and per years of experience. You can publish the holidays. You can publish your organization structure, where you can expand this organization structure and view it in a compact view. And of course, you can see all the details of your organization structure with expansion, collapse, etc. The organization structure is not only built to show you this graphical view of the org structure, it's also very important to manage your authorization matrix in the organization. So people in the different position within the organization structure will be entitled to different approval workflows depending on their position, their manager, and manager of manager. So you don't need to change your workflow every time you hire a new employee. You plan your org structure, you plan your authorization system, and then whoever fits in this organization structure will be automatically given the authorization that his position is entitled to. You can publish your policies and procedures. You can publish your corporate offers. There are some informative components like when is my passport expiring? When is my next holiday planned? I can also use the manual timesheet in case I don't have integration with a time and attendance machine, or if I use a timesheet. I can clock in and clock out in the system, in the company, in case I'm in my workplace. And now I cannot, because the system indicates that I'm outside the office, so I cannot clock in. I can have a project timesheet to put time on projects so that I can allocate the payroll cost not only on different dimensions, but also on different projects with different timelines. I can see my tasks, my activities related to recruitment, for example. If I have any planned interviews, I can see them here. Any planned training related to my job, I can request the training. And of course, the system allows more than 15 or 16 self-service transactions that I can do as an employee in the company or a manager. Let's start by some informative stuff. The most common part is the area related to my payslip. I can always go to the system, of course, if I'm authorized to do so, and I can generate my payslip. So the system will go ahead and generate the payslip and open the payslip for me based on my authorization and my needs. So as you can see here, the payslip is ready with all the details, with all the functions that I have. The design of the payslip can be configured and localized for any company based on their needs. On top of that, the system has a full performance and appraisal operations where the managers can set up the personal objectives of themselves and their team, as well as business objectives related to the head of departments and job competencies or job KPIs that are related to the job. Of course, you can, if you are a manager, you can initialize the appraisal from here or remove certain appraisals that are not finished. You can request a training. You can also evaluate a certain training that you have done. You can have access to certain reports that are related to the self-service. And as I said before, you can check in and check out if you do not have a time and attendance machine in your organization. Let's start with some examples on the self-service activities. We will start with the most common one, which is related to your leaves. Of course, each company has its own set of leaves related to the labor law and the company policy. You can create as many leaves as you want, which are related to annual, sick, maternity, paternity, emergency, death, Hajj, Umrah, marriage, funeral, etc. So let's take, for example, annual leave. Before I do the annual leave, I would like to go to home and show you that I have 69 days available for me for annual leave. I will go to the leave request, press new, select annual leave. Automatically, the system told me that I have 69 days available. If I want to take the leave in October 15, the system will automatically tell me that I have 72 days available because on October 15, I will have 72 days. If I say November 29, I will have 77 days. So the system will automatically link my date of leave to the accruals that will be entitled to me when I take my leave. Let's go back. I'm going to take a leave from Monday 26 to October 4th. Okay, automatically the system generated the number of days, and we can configure the system to provide me the annual leave days based on working days or calendar days, depending on company policy and the type of leave. Of course, in some countries, you pay the leave in advance, so it can be off cycle, which means that before I go on my leave, I will get my leave paid. With the new labor law of UAE, which was introduced in February 2022, UAE has cancelled the concept of the off-cycle. However, the off-cycle is still available in Kuwait and Saudi and some other countries. So once I apply for my leave, I can put why I want to take a leave. Or for example, if I'm requesting a sick leave, I need to attach my medical report so that, all of this can be available. And once I finish, I will submit my leave request. Two things will happen when I submit my leave request, which are the following. The first thing, my manager, depending on the authorization matrix and the authorization setup, will receive a notification. Also, there will be in my inbox, I should receive when I do a refresh of my inbox, I will receive a notification that one of my team has requested a leave. And of course, the email will show me the person who requested the leave, his name, how many days, from which date to which date. He will give me also the day's entitlement, as well as the last leave taken and the opening balance, etc. Of course, I can click on the link here to approve the leave, or I can just go in here, press on the notification, click on the leave request that has been submitted. And something important here, I can view the team's calendar. So I can see who are requesting a leave at the same time where the other employee is requesting. And of course, in this scenario, I can have more details to see who else is taking the leave. The last thing I want to do is to have a department that is empty because everybody is taking leave at the same time. If all is okay, I will approve the leave. enjoy, submit. The system again will send a notification to the employee. And of course, if I want to check my email, I'll go to my inbox. I will see that my leave request has been approved. So everything is both on the system and on my email, and of course the mobile application. If I go back to the system, so I have received a notification that my leave has been approved. And you can see here my leave balance has been reduced by 7 days, as we have seen. Of course, for a reason, sometimes you may cancel your leave, you need to come back early. There is always an early rejoin that you can request. And of course, you can select to rejoin earlier than expected. And of course, it goes to approval. And if approved, you will join early. Another important aspect in the self-service is related to loans. Most of the companies in the Middle East provide cash advances to the employees, maybe related to rent payments, maybe related to education, maybe related to some emergency, etc. So again, the same scenario applies. I will go in here and I will say I'm going to request a loan today for the amount of, I don't know, 5,000 dirhams, dollars, whatever you like. And you will say that I'm going to pay back this loan over 5 payments, and it's a personal loan. I need to pay the school fees of my kids. Once you finish, you submit. It goes for approval as usual, as we mentioned before, and of course, you will have an email received. You will check for the approver will receive the notification. He will check that somebody requests 5,000 riyals, dirhams, dinars, whatever, dollars, and then he will say approve. But in this scenario, I will approve 4,000 due to budget restrictions. We can give 5K and you submit. In the same scenario, when the employee logs in, he will receive an email as well. I will show you here. So everything that you see will be linked to a loan request task, as you can see here in the system. And once I log into the system, I will see a notification. I can check my loan, 4,000. I'm okay, it's fine. Thanks, submit. What happens next is fully automatic. Nobody needs to interfere in anything. Why? Because the system automatically created a loan for John Smith. So if I go to the reporting engine here and search for John Smith and submit, you will see here that the system has created a loan payment plan of 5 payments for 4,000, whatever currency, and status is unpaid. Of course, if I want to see all the employees, you can see here that this is another employee who took a loan and already made 3 payments. If for whatever reason the employee resigns before the loan is finished, the system will automatically inform the finance department and will automatically deduct the loan balance from the end of service payment. Also, you don't need to worry that any penny will be lost on the company because of this loan management system. Of course, you can have a summary of all loans. Let's say I'm gonna go ahead here and say, give me all the open loans in my company and say submit. The system will generate a list of all loans, remaining balance, remaining installments, and any report in the system can be exported to Excel, to PDF, to HTML, to CSV, whatever. I'm exporting this to Excel, as you will see now. If I open the Excel, I will see the file, and you will be able to view this file as we will see now. So this is my exported file. Also, the format for exporting our files is ready to be shared. So you don't need to reformat or do anything. Of course, you can have formulas and totals, pivot tables, etc., etc. Now, of course, there are other services. I will not go in everything, but I want to show you something important. As you know, a lot of employees ask for letters, especially, for example, in Saudi or UAE. They need a letter to obtain a driving license. They need a letter to open a bank account. They need a letter to apply for a visa. They need a letter to apply for a loan at the bank, etc. So we have a letter management engine. Let's say I want to apply for a experience certificate or salary certificate. All what I need to do as an employee is select the type of letter that I want and press on submit. Once I press on submit, the same process follows. The system will send a notification to HR department that somebody is requesting a letter, and of course an email will be received. Once I press on this, the system will generate the letter automatically. So that's a good idea. So we have the letter ready in the name of the person and all the details that is related to his salary, etc. However, by submitting the approval for this letter is not enough because some government agencies or banks require a signature. So all what we need to do is go ahead in here, press on the signature, sign the document, add the signature to the document, as you will see here. And of course, we can have multiple signatures based on the workflow. And all what we need to do is approve and submit. You know, in this scenario, what will happen? The employee, of course, will receive the salary certificate in his file. But most importantly is that the employee, if you go to the inbox, will receive his letter in the inbox. So you can see here, I received my salary certificate signed with a date, with all the details and reference number. So this is what we mean by a full digital transformation of your HR operations. No more manual intervention when it comes to any activities that you need, including any general request, which can be as simple as, let's say, obtaining a clearance request or requesting for a business card. And it can be more advanced where it can be, for example, related to filling up a certain application. Let's say if I have a certain application that I need to fill, I can fill it up. For example, let's say this is the application to open a bank account. I can also add a signature and submit for approval. So all of these activities, so no more papers. This is the key and the most important part of having a system like Magnar. Of course, I have things like travel requests. Let's say I want to fly for a business trip to the USA from, let's say, October 10th to 27th. And I want to fly on business class. And I want to say I am attending a conference in New York. Okay, so all of this is available. You submit. Again, it goes for approval. If your travel has been approved, submit. You can go ahead and file the expense for your tickets and the per diem, etc. So you fill in the expense claim. The expense claim can be a normal expense claim related to a dinner that you have or a whatever information, or it can be linked to travel. And if it is linked to travel, for example, in this case, my trip to the US, the system will automatically calculate your per diem based on the travel rules, which means a destination that directs you to tell you what are the per diem that you pay if you travel to the US. Not only that, the per diem will vary based on your grade. So if you are grade 1, you get something. If you are grade 2, you get something else. Of course, we have in the recruitment our hiring request. We can even resign using the system. And when we resign, the system will calculate my notice period based on the labor law. This is also important, and I can type in my resignation email. You can also request overtime. If you are not using timesheet and you need to have approvals for your overtime, also the system allows you to request overtime, and you can have multiple overtime types and dates, etc. You can request for a training. And of course, if you are a manager, you can submit the timesheet for approval. You can see all your tasks, and any task can be in progress, approved, rejected, closed, or not started. So if I want to see all my approved leaves, I can see here my approved leaves, etc. On the training side, I can select the training and the training agenda. I can also view the courses acquired and the applied trainings. Now that we have worked on the self-service part, of course, if I'm an HR manager, I can go into the back office. The back office is also very important. It starts by showing you a full business intelligence platform, which has different KPIs or dashboards. Example of a dashboard can be analyzing the different nationalities that you have in your company. Another dashboard can be, for example, who are the newest hired employees in the company, their names, their title. Another dashboard can be analyzing salaries, which, for example, I want to analyze 2022. You have a drill down capability, February, and then you may say, I want to analyze only basic salary plus car allowance plus fuel allowance. And then the system will give you that. If you want to check who has a car allowance, you can go ahead and check the employees that have a car allowance. You can go back, you can check fuel allowance. Of course, if you have authorization, you can even check the basic salary of certain employees, etc. The creation of dashboards is very simple. The system comes with a dashboard designer that allows you to create any dashboard within seconds. Example, I can go in here and say I want to create a new dashboard, which is a pie chart. I choose the data source, add the value, for example, in this case, the nationalities. And here we go, your dashboard is finished. And then you can go and say in the dashboard, I don't want the caption, I don't want the title, I want the layout to be in this way, and the labels only to have the argument and value. And once that is done, I would like to change the coloring to off. And here you go, you have a new dashboard, very simple, very straightforward, and you're done. You want to change the dashboard into a bar chart, click in here, change, and give me a bar chart. And here you go, you have a bar chart dashboard. So it's very flexible. And of course, all what we're talking about is free of charge, comes with the system itself. The system is multi-country, so you can have UAE, Kuwait, US, UK, whatever. In each country, you will have the labor law. In case you have taxations, we can set up the tax schema. We have taxations in Africa, in the Middle East, in Gulf region. Unfortunately, there's no, not fortunately, actually, there's no taxes. So we don't have a taxation system, but of course we have social security. For example, in Kuwait for Kuwaitis, in Saudi, we have social security or GOSI for Saudis and non-Saudis. So we can set up all the related social security requirements and the tax definitions and tax brackets, etc., etc. So all of this is available and ready to be supported. Also, we have different employee types. The system supports up to 5 dimensions exactly as SAP Business One, and also it supports by design and S4HANA. So this system can be integrated or is currently integrated with by design, S4, and Business One. And it supports up to 5 dimensions for cost center allocation and unlimited cost center definitions depending on the structure of your financial system. Also, we can set up the different end of service rules for end of service gratuity and accrual or provision for end of service. It's important, and we can have different termination reasons depending on the country that we are working with. Something very important is our compensation and benefits, which are related to certain compensations and benefits that we set up in the system before we start using it. For example, if I want to set up, let's say, a housing allowance, you have different ways to pay housing. One way is a fixed amount. Let's say your salary is $1,000 and you have a housing allowance of 200. Another concept is that it's a percentage of your gross salary. Let's say your housing allowance is 25% of your gross salary. How to create that? Very easy. You go housing. Of course, we will do that as implementation partners for you. So it's housing, paid in USD, type it's variable, category earning, and then you go ahead here and you say it's calculated. The moment you press calculated, the system opens to you an Excel-like tool. So you go ahead and you say the housing allowance is equal to gross salary times 20%. There you go, done. Then you say, I want to link this element to a debit and credit account. I want to link it to debit my expense account and credit my liability account. Okay, so all of this is available. And also the formula can be more advanced. For example, I can say if the employee, let's say age or grade, okay, is equal or is greater than or equal to grade 5, I will pay him 20%. Else, I will pay him gross salary times 30 because he's a higher grade times 0.3. And we close the brackets. Of course, if we missed to do something in the formula and we validated, the system will tell me the formula is not valid because I missed to close the bracket. Now that I closed the bracket, the system is valid. And here we go. I created a compensation, a benefit, which is called housing, and I linked it to everything else. Of course, this element can be used in other formulas as well. So this is very nice as well. Also, we can create formulas related, for example, to gratuity. If you want to see the gratuity, for example, you can go ahead and create a formula. You can select what are the elements that you need to create the gratuity on. For example, in UAE, gratuity is calculated only on basic salary. In Kuwait, it's calculated on gross. So if you want to calculate it on basic salary, here you go, you changed it. So it's very easy, very flexible. Of course, not everybody will have access to this, but I can show you how easy it is to set up the system. I can tell you we just finished an implementation for a bank in Iraq and in Dubai. It took us exactly 6 days with 2 consultants to finish the full implementation of the system. Of course, it was only a branch in Dubai. We will move now to Iraq. It's bigger. It will take more time, but we have cases where we have finished an implementation in less than 2 weeks. So that's an example of the compensation and benefits. Then we go to the company. We have multi-companies, as you can see here. We also have dashboards, as I mentioned. We have a very nice employee profile management that we can go in here. And for example, if I want to search for a certain employee, we can edit. The employee has a lot of information. It can be his name, nationality, date of birth, gender, code, grade, position, register number, passport, passport expiry, ID, ID expiry, Iqama, branch, unit, profession, promotion history, start date, exemption, bank details, dependents, rejoining, education, address, skills, objectives, etc. In addition to that, you have your promotion history, you have the projects that you worked on, any asset that you have, which can be a laptop, a mobile, a car, a tool, any attachment, which can be your contract, offer letter, passport copy, education degree, etc. And here you allocate the cost as in SAP Business One to multiple dimensions. So you can say the cost of this employee will be allocated to this department, this division, this cost center, this section, this unit, etc. And there's no limit on that. On top of this, it's very important to know that we allow the permissions up to field level. So for example, I can say payroll members can view employees, but I don't want to give them access to the calendar ID or contract date or date of birth, example. So I can deny access at field level to any user on the system. On top of that, we can create alerts, which is very important, especially in the Middle East and Gulf region, where you need to make sure that you create alerts to the right people. How to create an alert? It's very easy. You go in here and you say, give me an alert, for example, to passport expiry or ID expiry or whatever you like. And then you go ahead and you say, this is a notification. I want to send this notification to John and to another John. And you can say here that I want to take all the employees in this notification and create a rule that says my passport expiry date is less than or equal to today plus 30 days. I want a notification daily at 9 a.m. to be received on my email and my mobile app. So every day the system will check whose passport will expire within the next 30 days and will send a notification to the PRO or the HR department or the employee or whoever. I can create multiple rules. For example, if I want to do the ID expiry, for example, Emirates ID, I will say is less than or equal to today plus 90 days. So in this case, all the Emirates IDs expiring within the next 90 days will be sent to me. I can create a notification on anything, in Visa, for example, Visa expiry or Iqama or whatever. Okay, this is very important when it comes to managing your employee profiles or any notification or alert that you want to take or get within the organization. You can search your menu. As you can see here, I'm searching my menu. If you don't have self-service transactions, the system allows you to have the transactions entered by HR department or the managers responsible for entering employee transactions. Processing the payroll is very easy. As I said, we have cases where we, for example, have a company of 300 employees or 1,000 employees or 5,000 employees. Generating the payroll is a matter of seconds. And I know for a fact, and it's cases that we have allowed some of our customers to reduce the payroll processing time at the end of the month from 7 days to 2 hours, because everything is entered automatically. So all what you need to do at the end of the month is to come, select, of course, you can review some stuff, execute the payroll, revert the payroll, and get the results in a very easy way and very nice way. Of course, we support end of service settlement, which is very important. We support it. We also have off-cycle payroll generation, which means that you are allowed to run off-cycle generation, off-cycle leave payment, which means to pay the leave to the employee before he goes on leave, and this is only in Kuwait and Saudi. Also, we have the off-cycle, normal off-cycle, which I mentioned, which can be related to paying a bonus in the middle of the month or an expense to an employee before he travels, etc. In the setup of the system, we can set up the organization structure, which is the company structure, which are the different departments, head offices, let's say different units, headquarters, etc. So you can see that, and you can expand all and see your org structure from a company perspective, from a departmental structure, let's say. You can set up different salary scales, which is very important when you do increments or you do hiring, not to exceed the salary scale, which can be linked to a different grade and level with minimum, maximum, and median. You can set up the different jobs, and each job will have a job description. It will have multiple competencies, duties, and requirements. And finally, This is where you set up your org structure and authorization matrix that you have seen, where we can, of course, edit any job or any position, whether it is vacant or not, and link it to a certain grade and level, and of course, department. On top of that, the system supports different overtime types, which can be linked to different rates, different absence types, and of course, we have the different attendance rules, which indicate what will happen if the employee checked in late or checked in early, whether you pay overtime or not. And we have also the shifts, where you can have multiple shifts in case you're a factory operating 24 hours or a hospital or a whatever. And each shift can be linked to employee schedules, where you can schedule the employee, okay, and by selecting any employee, where you can create a certain schedule, where you can say, for example, this employee works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday off. Let's say this is, for example, an employee where you can link it to a certain schedule and a certain whatever. Let's say you can have monthly schedules, weekly schedules, etc. Um, so this is on the scheduling part. Of course, we can integrate with third-party scheduling system, but our scheduling system is very nice. It can be linked to certain calendars or certain stuff that you can say. For example, I can have 4 calendars in my organization. One is called morning calendar, evening calendar, or night calendar, and you can link a group of employees to different calendars within the organization. On top of the shifts and schedules, as I mentioned, we can have multiple calendars, and the calendar can be on different working days, different holidays, for example, different weekends. Let's say in Kuwait, we have 2 types of calendars. One type, which is related to the group that is working on 2 weekends, and others that are working on 1 weekend. And in case you want to link it to a schedule, you can link it to a schedule, and you can create the shifts for each one, and even the shift can be repeated every week until the end of the year, so you can have easier scheduling in your organization. And once you do that, you can see that the system has repeated the same shift for this calendar, and then you can link this calendar to different employees. You can have different loan types, as we mentioned. Of course, the workflow setup is very important, and here, when you want to do an approval workflow, let's say, for example, related to the sick leave, and this is a leave approval workflow, you can say, for example, level 1 is my manager, level 2 is the manager of my manager, okay, level 3, you can say, I only want a review by John. And then you can say level 4 is conditional. So it's a normal conditional overflow, conditional workflow. And you can say if the employee is in the HR department, I don't need an approval, else I need them to approve. So it's a very, very nice workflow engine that you can design. Of course, we will help you design it and set it up. We spoke about the per diem. For example, if you're traveling to the US, you can set up different per diems based on different grades, and the system will understand which grade you are and will pay you the per diem, ticket, taxi, car, whatever is needed. This is where you define the fixed assets to link it to different employees, banks, projects. Also in projects, you can design the project and link it to different employees with active and non-active, etc. You can select the employee name and you can link it to the project or whatever you want to do. This is where you manage your allowances. This is you manage your workplaces. This is very important as well. So if you want to do the workplace will have a latitude and longitude, and this is very important when it comes to this, because this is where you tell the system, I can only allow the employee to check in once he is within this latitude and longitude and in a close destination to his office by 10 meters, for example, or 20. Okay. We have a full performance and appraisal process where we can initiate an appraisal, and this appraisal can be a self or line manager appraisal. Let's take an example. If I want to initiate an appraisal, I can do it from self-service if I want. I can go in here and say my info, initiate appraisal, go ahead, self-appraisal for the period of 2022. I will select the employee, I will save. The employee will receive a notification. He will go in, he will rate himself first in terms of personal KPIs, business KPIs, and competencies related to his job. Of course, he can add notifications here if he wants, and then he submits. Once he submits, it goes to his manager. The manager will rate the employee as well with different stuff. And then the manager will make a comment to the HR department. Dear HR, make sure to promote this employee to supervisor. Example, okay? And you submit, it goes to HR. HR only has the role to view and put a comment. Okay, we will try to make that happen by Jan 2023. You finish, you accept, it goes to the employee. The employee can check his result. He cannot see the comments of the HR nor the manager. He will check his result. He can see that he's entitled to a bonus because he scored high, and he can file for grievance if he wants, or he can accept. Once he accepts, you can see here in the system that the full appraisal cycle is completed, and you can see who has got involved in the appraisal, the result, and of course you can print the report and file this appraisal form, or you can keep it digital as you can see it here from an appraisal perspective. Let me go back to the back office. We also support time and attendance in 4 channels. We can support companies that has no time and attendance. Example, companies that do not have the concept of clock in and clock out. And after COVID, 90% of the companies do not have any more time and attendance. The other option is manual time and attendance, where you can go in and fill the timesheet. The third option is upload the time and attendance from Excel. And the fourth option is direct integration via API with your time and attendance machine, or using the system itself as a time and attendance tool where you can clock in and clock out yourself. We have management of salaries, including retroactive salary management. So you can say that I want to make an increase for this employee by 10%, and it will be effective from this date, let's say. Let me go here, John. Okay, you can say that this employee, I will give him a 10% increase, and this 10% is effective from and retroactive from. So it's very important also to know that our system supports retroactive salary calculations. So this is also important for some companies that allow retroactive salary calculation, which goes back in calculations. We can link the system into the employee into a private insurance policy with the different classes, beneficiaries, and whoever is the beneficiary of this employee. And we can import these insurance policies into the system. We can define multiple leaves. Also, we manage sick leave percentage. As you know, in some countries, not all sick leave is fully paid. For example, in Dubai, the first 15 days are 100% paid, the next 30 days are 50% paid, and after that, they are 0% paid up to 90 days. We can also manage what we call compensatory leaves, where employees can, for example, work on a weekend and you need to compensate them by giving them an annual leave. We can decide when the employee, based on his grade, can apply for a leave. For example, in the UAE, I think some companies say that you can start applying for a leave after 6 months of joining, or others will say after 11, others will say after 1 year. So it depends on the company policy. And of course, you can decide what are the days he can take based on his grade. So some grades will be entitled to 30 days, some days will be entitled, for example, to 45 days, or let's say 40 days. It depends on how you want to do it and the years of experience. You can also support leave encashment, so you can cash out leaves in case you don't want to go for a leave and the management approves that. We can set up different end of service procedures, and we set up notice periods based on labor law. We have the recruitment setup, which is related to job opening, applicants, interviews, automatic job offer types, and sending position criteria, etc. Different types of expenses and expense types. You can send payslips by email, which is very nice. You can say select the employee, and you can send his payslip. Um, you can also do data import. From when we do the setup, we do the what we call the data import workbench. So you can import the employees, etc. And finally, we have the uh, the reporting engine, which has a lot of reports. Just to let you know, the system comes with, when I go to the setup, the system comes with a report designer. No matter how many reports you have, you will always need more. And instead of calling us and we tell you we need 1 day or 2 days to do this report, if you know how to do crystal reports, if you have any technical person in your organization, you can either update a certain report. For example, let's take the payslip. You can update the payslip, or by changing the logo, changing the name, changing the position of certain items, adding a picture, adding whatever, or you can create a new report from scratch and upload the data and link it to a certain data source or query or whatever. Yes,
sorry to interrupt. We have still 5 minutes, and then
we're
we have to
done.
move to the Q&A.
So,
Okay.
so from my end, this is everything that I have. I just wanted to show you that we have a lot of reports. For example, if we have here the leaves report, I can go ahead and submit the leave report from a certain date to a certain date. Let's take a small example, and then we move to Q&A. Let's say I want to do it from January 1st up till today. And I say okay, and you submit. You will see that every employee will have a leave statement. We have a lot of reports. We have the salary details, etc. So having said that, I'm done with my presentation. Of course, if you feel you need a more detailed one that caters for your business, I'm happy to arrange that with the team. Else, I'm open now to Q&A.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks, Wasim. Thanks very much for this presentation as well. As Wasim mentioned, we have already recorded this session, so I will distribute it with you later on as well. If you need more detailed to gather your business need, detailed demo, okay, we're happy to do that. You can coordinate with your team, Anjan, Nicoletta, Hatim, or Shamsir, or myself, okay, to go through that. I will allow now the microphone for everyone, so you can unmute yourself and just raise your hand if you want, and okay, and take the speech to answer the question. We can answer the question. I'm allowing now so now you can, I think, unmute yourself. Okay, so
Okay, I have a question from Miss or Mrs. Khulud. She says that does the project timesheet support project activities? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The employee who is working on different projects will be able to utilize the worksheet. You can upload the Excel file which differentiates the different projects, or you can just go ahead and create a new entry, and you say project 1, cost center or business unit. I worked for 5 hours on this date, and you put the description of your job, and you say, okay. Note that this does not affect your payroll. It's just related to the posting of the projects or cost allocation of your projects into SAP Business One or by design or S4HANA.
Exactly. So just to add to Wasim, okay, we have the tool for to post all these transactions whenever you post and you confirm your payroll in Magnar. Okay, you can import automatically the journal entries and the journal voucher, okay, to SAP Business One, and you can define how you want to do the posting. Is it by cost center, and project? So we have different ways to post these. So we have the integration already made, okay, to SAP Business One. Mubarak, yes, if you want to unmute yourself, you can do it.
I have
And answer
another
question.
question from Mr. Muhammad R.
Yes.
He's asking to see the expense claim from the end user. Already we showed that, but I will just show it again. So you go to self-service expense claim, and you select the date, and then you put your expenses. For example, if I want to make an expense claim related to hotel, let's say, I will select the hotel expense, the amount, which is, for example, 300 or 200 or whatever, the currency, and I can take a picture of the receipt and take this, upload this receipt and submit for approval. The same scenario, it will go for approval, and if approved, it will be paid either off cycle or by the end of the month. Thank you.
May I ask my question, please?
Go ahead.
Right. Now we are a factory, and the workers are paid based on certain production lines that they work. So I'll take a live example. For example, Mubarak is an employee, is a factory worker. He works on something called paste line today, and paste line workers for today are paid on top of their payroll in overtime. They are paid, for example, 10 dirhams for today.
Yes.
Now this is today is 10 dirhams. Tomorrow it might be 12 dirhams because they produce more, right? That is one.
But you are
That is
paying
one
them
variable.
based on what? Based on workplace, or you are paying them based on certain amount of time, or what is the criteria that you are using to pay this 10 or 12 dirham per employee?
There are two criteria for that. One is the production line they are working. We have two production line. One is paste and one is syrup.
And
So
this is when you assign an employee into production line, does it mean that he's assigned to that always, or he may work on this production line today and tomorrow on another production line?
no, it can change tomorrow
It can
another
change.
production line. Right.
Okay.
Right. So there are two variables. One is the production line on which he works, and second is how much is produced on that day on that production line.
Okay, where you get this information for
We
the
get this in
production?
the production. We get it from SAP B1 that we are working on. We have installed SAP B1 through Cedar Procons. So we
Yes.
have SAP B1 that gives us the how much is produced on a particular line.
Okay.
Right.
And
But
how and where you get the information on the location he has worked on, or the
this is
production line?
we don't have that. We don't have that because we are not using the payroll system for SAP B1. We are doing
Okay.
manual payroll for now.
So it's easy. What you do is the following. The first thing is, of course, in Magnar, you can integrate and upload information. So what we need from you at the end of the month is to tell me each employee how many, what is the production data that you have in Business One. Okay. And
Okay.
the second is to give me a sheet which shows me each employee how many hours he worked in each production line. So this data needs to be gathered from somewhere. Once we have this information, we can upload it into the system and do the payroll calculation. If you want to do a direct integration via API with Business One and with the location, the timesheet or whatever, then it's a mini project that we need to analyze and customize for you if you want to do real-time API integration. I believe this is a very specific requirement which we are happy to support either via batch upload or via real-time integration, but needs to be analyzed further.
Hey, Mubarak,
Excellent,
just to
excellent.
add on this as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we can analyze it later on, but it might be not related, for example, to payroll. It might be related to the production time. And you want to record this to the production order to have the costing and everything. So let's discuss this offline and we will talk about it as well. Okay?
Agreed, Tony. Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wasim, we have two other questions as well from Rafiuddin. Yes, Rafiuddin, Ahmad, it supports mobile apps. You have a mobile app as well for Magnar. Okay, where
Yeah,
the
let me show you
users.
the mobile app, just a second.
Yeah.
So this is the mobile app. Of course, it supports Android and iOS. This is the iPhone. Okay, you can click in, click out, do all your transactions. This is, for example, for Samsung S20. Okay, so again, you have a full mobile app. You can, I think the Apple one will be published on Monday. You can just go and download the demo of your mobile app. We are okay with that, so please feel free to do so. Okay, so this is at the mobile app side. What else, Tony, do we have?
We request, okay, we will send you the presentation. Of course, we'll send the presentation and the recording as well for everyone. Plus, for the master data, Sabah, yes, you can import the master data. We have templates where you can do all the import for most
let
of
me
the,
show you.
most of the
If
transactions.
we go into data import, most of the stuff is imported from Excel, and you can download templates, fill them in Excel, and upload them and do mapping on the columns or rows, whatever is convenient for you for all the stuff. To answer Khulud's question, no, each travel, you cannot have in one single travel request more than one country. So let's say if you are traveling to the US and passing through UK, you will make the two requests, one for UK and one for US, because each one will have different per diem rules and different destination rules.
And for SIVA, yes, for the posting for the payroll, it's already integrated with SAP Business One out of the box. So it is available. Okay. We have the tool, we developed the tool, so you will get it as well.
Hello, hi.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Siva from Intel Tech. Actually, we already almost 80% of the things what you people shown we have with now with Nomina. Like our add-on is Nomina. We work already with Nomina. 80% of the things are there. But what you people shown is like more advanced. It's very nice. My question is like our data, like employee master and other data. When the time of implementation, you people will transfer to this Magnar.
Yeah, what we can do, we can export this from SAP Business One. Okay, show the template. But the thing here is, Siva, we have more fields in Magnar than SAP Business One that you will utilize and you will benefit from. So when we export this, you still have to confirm the sheet to play around with the sheet, to add the fields that you need, okay, like position, grades, this kind of stuff, okay, to be able to import it to Business One. For the transactions, no, we don't import them. It's only the master data.
Tony, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
We have already
And one more
replaced
question,
Nomina in more
like-
than 10 customers. We already
Yes.
done that with Nomina in more than 10 customers in UAE and other countries.
And one more question, like we are now currently facing problem like our payroll generation. It's taking around like 4 to 5 hours because our payroll is per project. It's like one employee will go even per day 2-3 location, 2-3 project. They will work on 2-3 project. So it's like our payroll. It's like taking time for running around like 5 to 6 hours. One, and number two, our payroll posting also like projected posting. I didn't like, can you explain regarding the posting?
Okay, let me explain something to you. The time that you are seeing now on Nomina will be reduced to less than 1 minute. So it will go down from 5 hours to, let's say, 50 seconds or 60 seconds.
Exactly. And about the posting, like our posting.
And then we have a web tool for the posting. I don't have it here. I cannot show it to you. Where we will do the creation of the journal vouchers. Once approved, it will create the journal entries by project and cost center. Again, it doesn't take a lot of time. How many employees do you have?
Like around 300 employees.
300 employees.
Yeah, in-house 300 employee and 300 employee as supply employee.
Okay, your payroll
Like
will
around
take,
600 employees.
Your payroll will take less than a minute to finish.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay. And we can show you that if you want later.
So it's better.
Even multiple project, right?
Okay, guys, any other question? Because we were short in time and if
Yeah,
anyone
thank
has
you.
any
Yes,
question.
just to let you know, there is a limit between the mobile app and the web platform. The mobile app is only used for self-service. Of course, the web platform is mobile responsive as well. You can do everything, but we don't recommend to use the mobile app for payroll generation, for example. It's not recommended. So the mobile app is mainly used for self-service requirements.
So it's easier for you, Rafiuddin, to do check-in, check-out, for example, from the mobile, request something. And for linking government website, I don't know if we did it for
Linking to
Gozi
what,
and
Tony?
Mudad.
Linking to what? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Link to government websites like
Yes,
Mudad
we
or
have
Gozi.
the ability to do so by generating an XML file or API file, and we've done it with some customers like
But
Taqniya in
it is
Saudi,
not
for example.
automatic linking, just to make sure. It's
Yeah,
not
you
automatic.
need to go to the government portal and upload whatever data you want.
Because here you have some restriction from the government where you cannot do it, okay? And you need special approval to link that automatically, Mahfouz.
We can discuss it, Mahfouz, if you want. We can check and let you know, depending on your requirements. Because we have a lot of customers in Saudi.
As well, for the banks as well, the same. We have the WPS report that's
Yes,
coming
we do
from
have.
Business
The
One.
WPS is available,
But
and it comes with the format that your bank requires. And
linking
it can
it
be
to the
text
bank
or
automatically,
yes.
okay,
Yes.
it depends on the banks. Okay, we can do the linking automatically. Of course, we need to do it. We need to do the integration with the banks, but you can generate the WPS and import it to the bank now.
Most of our customers in UAE just generate the WPS file and upload it to the bank directly. So yes, it is linked to the bank if you want, and then the bank will do the processing accordingly.
Usually with banks here in the Middle East, they don't allow you to automatically linking with their websites because of security and restrictions that they have.
No, Tony, we have customers in UAE. No, automatically the bank has a place where you generate the file, upload it on their portal, and the bank will do the processing.
Yes, but uploaded, not automatically, Wasim.
Yeah, of course, but you need to work on uploading the WPS to do the payroll.
Not automatic linking with the bank. That's what they are asking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. We'll discuss it. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Any other question? If you need any other question, you can ping us. Okay. Sabah as well. She has a question, Wasim. Last question.
What about if we have some employees' loans break down in this possible to continue here? Yes, it is possible. Sure. You give us the open balances and the remaining installments, and we will upload them in the system. Don't worry about it. We have done it before in a lot of cases. Okay.
Okay, Wasim. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Please ping Tony or your account manager for any further information. We will be more than happy to explore implementing Magnar at your organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.